Now let's get to this.
I want to make the best deal. I could make a deal right now. Do you know that if I left right now, we had a tremendous success. It would take them 20 years to rebuild, but I don't want to do that. I want to have it everlasting. I want to have it where they never have a chance to get it. I took the country out militarily in the first 4 weeks. I took it out militarily. Now all we're doing is sitting back and seeing what deal. And if they don't want to make a deal, then I'll finish it up militarily with the other 25% of the targets. We've hit 78% of the targets that we've wanted to hit. We've knocked out their manufacturing. We've knocked out their missile production. We've knocked out their drone production. We've knocked out everything.
President Trump giving an update on talks with Iran just moments ago, saying if they don't want to make a deal, he will finish the job militarily. Joining us now, former Trump State Department counterterrorism coordinator Nathan Sales. Nathan, thank you for being here. What struck me about what President Trump said is that he doesn't want to just take any deal. He wants an everlasting deal. He wants a real deal. And he's created the circumstances, it looks like, to be able to achieve that. He's got his military presence in place. He can always move forward with military operations if he needs to. He's choking Iran through its oil sales and the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz. And internally, it seems like this second round of regime is crippling itself because of all of the infighting. So he's just waiting and watching before he makes his next move. What are your thoughts?
Hey, Jackie, thanks for having me. So I think there's a lot going on here, and let's unpack it. So first of all, you're exactly right. No deal is better than a bad deal. And I think what we heard from the president today is he's prepared to wait and use whatever tools are available to him to make sure we get the best possible deal. Initially, that was military force and destroying Iran's nuclear weapons program and its leadership and its military industrial base. Now we've shifted from kinetic pressure to economic pressure, and this is a longer-term game. The amount of economic pressure that the Iranian regime is under now because of this American blockade of the Gulf is really staggering. They lose $435 million a day in economic value. How long can they withstand that kind of pressure? It's not something that's going to materialize tomorrow. And so I think the message from the president today is very important. We're prepared to wait a little bit to make sure we get the best possible deal.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But yet when he's dealing with the press, there are these moments where he has to battle reporters. It happened again today. Take a listen here.
How long are you willing to wait until you get a unified response?
Don't rush me, Jeff.
The U.S. now has been involved with Iran. You had initially said it would be 4 to 6 weeks.
Well, I hope that, but I also took a little break. I gave them a break. And remember this, I want to make the best deal. I could make a deal right now. I mean, the way you asked that question.
What do you say to the American people who question how much longer this will take? Obviously, you know that they are having higher...
You're such a disgrace. Did you hear what I just said? Vietnam. How many years was Vietnam?
So if you're asking for more time to sort out negotiations with Iran...
I'm not asking you for more time. I'm not asking for them. No, it's not more time. I'm not asking anybody for more time.
Sir, would you use a nuclear weapon against Iran? You posted on Truth Social a few weeks ago.
We don't need it. Why do I need it? Why would a stupid question like that be asked? Why would I use a nuclear weapon when we've totally, in a very conventional way, decimated them without it? No, I wouldn't use it. A nuclear weapon should never be allowed to be used by anybody.
Nathan, he's fighting nuclear weapons. That's what this is all about. Why are they asking him if he would use a nuke? It sounds like they're just trying to get a headline.
Well, Jackie, this is all about preventing the world's worst state sponsor of terrorism forever getting access to the world's most destructive weapons. Iran was close to having the capability to build a bomb. They have about 1,000 pounds of 60% highly enriched uranium, and it's just a hop, skip, and a jump from there to weapons grade. And I think that's why you saw the president and the prime minister of Israel decide we can't afford to assume goodwill on the part of the Iranian regime and simply hope for the best. That's what caused this war to happen when it did. So the president has been very clear over the course of his administration and back to his time as a private citizen about the horrors of nuclear war. I actually was scratching my head about why the reporters were trying to goad him on this question when his record is clear.
It's amazing. It's like they project on him. They flip the story instead of looking at the facts, looking at the situation at hand, and saying to the president, you know what, you're doing the right thing. Congratulations for being brave enough to try. Nathan Sales, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Jackie.
Still ahead.